Welcome to the Rasslin Café podcast. Daddy, I'm hungry. What do we gotta eat?
What up? This is the Rasslin Café podcast. What's up, people?
What's going on, folks?
What's going on?
I'm your boy, Killer K. And like you just heard, my crew here, we're here to serve you up nothing but main event level bullshit about wrestling. So today, we're going to talk about just some random shit, but the main course is going to be the Extreme Rules predictions. But before we proceed, you guys doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good and full.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm always hungry every time we record this podcast. I don't know why, man.
Well, good thing you call it the Wrestling Cafe then, because there should be plenty of food, right?
I know, right? And before I proceed, to those who are new to listening to this podcast, the reason why I got Killer K on here is because not only wrestling I'm also into hip-hop music, and that's what I plan on doing once I get some more ducats. But until then, we're just going to talk wrestling, and if you want the reason why these guys name themselves what they name them, tweet them. And what's you guys' Twitter?
At Big Southern.
At Chico, I need to change that. At MK1483, but I'm going to change that to Chico1483, but I haven't done it yet.
And you can tweet the podcast, retweet the podcast. You can, just let the whole fucking globe know about the new kids on the block by tweeting at the Rasslin Cafe. That's Robert, Apple, Sam, Larry, India, Nancy, Cafe on Twitter. The Rasslin Cafe on Twitter. At any rate, so I want to get y'all's thoughts on a couple of things that I've been seeing here. So, and one of them's both on Raw. The first one is who shot JR, aka who attacked Enzo. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it could be Revival. And I'm shocked that it's them because I thought that guy who was injured was going to be out a little longer than what they were claiming, but I guess he's back. I don't know.
My thoughts is that it could be either a Revival, and we know that they've had issues with Gallows and Anderson. So those would be the first two tag teams that I would say would be responsible for that.
I read somewhere online the other day that it could be his partner. Remember back in, I think it was 2002, when Shawn Michaels got beat up, and come to find out it was Triple H, and then they had that big-ass match at SummerSlam. Of course, this is not going to be like that, but the good thing about this is it got people thinking. I mean, ain't nobody at the water cooler drinking beers or whatever talking about this all the time, because it's not like that tag team, Enzo and Cass, is the greatest. We can blame that on creative. Then we can blame 99% of the shit on creative, but I don't know. I really hope it's Cass, though, or whatever his name is, because creative done, they should have been tag champs by April. Mania.
Yeah, I think it would be nonsense though if they were to have it be Cass right now, because for one thing, Enzo is one of the biggest reasons why Cass is over.
I agree. Cass.
Now, eventually, I think they should do it, or either that or have Enzo just to be his mouthpiece for right now, because Enzo, I'm telling you, that boy can rock a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't kidding. I love hearing him on the mic. It's funny as heck. I just look forward to it.
Because part of me was thinking while I'm watching these past several weeks, man, that he's getting annoying, getting out of control, yada 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 yada. Maybe Cass just had enough and just beat his ass, and then that'll be the reason why he did it towards the end. Or if they do turn him heel, that'll be the reason, because he'll feel like he's being held down. Look how many times he got his ass whooped, like the Rusev thing and yada 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 yada. But I don't know if Cass goes, because McMahon, he got a hard on for guys like him. He's gonna need a mouthpiece, and he can't cut a good promo to save his life. And so I'm kind of with you there, man. But what would you think it would take for Cass to be ready for the single scene, Southern?
The only thing that he have to do is work on his promo skills, and that's it. I mean, he's already halfway there. He's not terrible. He's better than Roman Reigns on the microphone, I can tell you that. But he still just could use a little bit of work.
What do you think, Chico?
Probably true. Couldn't they all use a little bit of work? I mean,
Nope.
I mean, not Enzo so much, and there's a few that are pretty good, but I think a lot of them could use a little improvement. I mean, think about it. If they were all on there, if they were all good on the mic, they wouldn't have to script it. But the thing is when they script it so much, how are you supposed to figure out who's okay on the mic and who ain't?
If you were good on the mic, you could take a script and you could run through a script. If you're not good on the mic, you wouldn't even be able to do a script right. So,
yeah.
I just don't see Cass being the one to do that, though, anyway, because, you would think that, because whoever's doing it's disappearing. I mean, you wouldn't think if Cass was the one that was doing it that he'd want to be, at least I wouldn't think he'd want to be right there, because he'd be one of the first that they would question and wonder. I mean, yeah, they're partners, but of course everybody knows partners turn. I don't like it, but they all do it. A lot of them do it. But yet the thing about it is they're a good team. When they wrestle, they're a good team. At least I think so.
But by him being there, it makes it look like he's not the one that's doing it. It makes him look like he's innocent.
True. You ever thought it could possibly be the Hardy Boys, though? I mean, this didn't start till they got back. I mean, I like the Hardys anyway, but you think it could be them? I mean, my opinion, Cass and Enzo would be the next biggest threat to their titles, and
I don't know. I don't think it's the Hardys, though.
It wouldn't make sense, though. I mean, there hasn't been much interaction between two teams to even warrant, them beating up on Enzo, because, the Hardys are tied up with the other two dudes, Sheamus and Cesaro.
Right.
So yeah, we'll wait and see, folks. How it turns out. I just hope that whatever creative is up to, they don't jump the ball, because I'm going to be honest with you, we may get different opinions here, which is great. The product lately just has not been enjoyable, and I'm really thinking that we are shit, because I can just speed through what I don't like, rewind what I do like, Sasha Banks,
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the product so far, or lately, past several months?
Well, I think they have had some enjoyable moments, but a lot more dull moments.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Ellsworth. Shout out to Ellsworth right there. Did you say duh or dumb?
Dull.
Oh, dull. Sorry. Never mind.
Not duh. I don't.
I take that back.
Duh.
That was the Ellsworth shit. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's just been so difficult for me to get into it, and I think part of it is because, at least for me, I'm always on the dirt sheets. Like last night on SmackDown, they announced the Money in the Bank for the women, and I kind of saw that one coming. It's like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean?
Well, I would venture to say that kind of spoils it when you do. I mean, it's kind of cool to see exactly what they're doing, but for me, I guess this is the reason why I enjoy it the way I do, because I don't really, read everything, like you do, and, but I still think SmackDown has put out better product lately than what Raw, has, but, I mean...
Regardless of reading dirt sheets or not, I mean, the predictability is still there. Like, after watching the formula for so many years, you kind of see where they're going, But it's all about the presentation and execution. I'm not bored because it's been predictable, quote unquote. I just miss those holy shit moments, those cliffhangers, man. You guys tell me, when was the last time there was a cliffhanger for you guys?
Man, I can't even remember. The only thing that I know when they kept saying that Sting was coming in, and all of this, that, and the other, I was like, when? And then that night at Survivor Series when he came out, because, they just kept us waiting. They kept, saying, oh, Sting is going to be such and such, and Sting is going to, when he finally showed his face at that Survivor Series, boy, that was my moment right there, and that's been a little while now.
Yeah. That's probably been the last. Well, the other thing that was a pretty big moment, and this was because at least I never heard anything about it until it was one of these surprise deals, was the Hardys coming back. I never heard anything about it. Now, keep in mind, I don't read the news, I don't do this, whatever, read all the stuff on the web, so I'm probably out of the loop anyway. But, when they showed up at the pay-per-view and were added to that tag team match, that was a total surprise. So, predictability wasn't there.
It will be interesting to see where they go after Extreme Rules, because I'm predicting that the Hardys will drop the titles. We'll get to that in a moment, but so yeah, for me, the most I haven't thought about it, but I think the last time I truly marked out that I can remember at this point is when they announced The Rock for the host. I don't know if you guys remember that. I just remember what happened on a Monday. I think it was Valentine's Day a few years ago.
What was it?
When The Rock was announced as the guest host or something like that.
Oh, you talking about WrestleMania?
Yeah, WrestleMania. This was years ago. He came out on Monday, cut a long-ass promo, I think 20, 30 minutes, but I that's what I marked out the last time I remember.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I knew. I mean, there was rumblings, but nothing concrete. They really kept that on the DL, at least from my perspective. But yeah, I mean, I just want, as a fan, I like suspense. I like back in the day. Okay, who is the greater power? You guys remember that storyline, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the corporate ministry and things like that. But again, you can't please everyone. Predictability is good. It all depends on how the story is told. What do you guys think about Jim Ross returning? It's been nice hearing his voice lately, huh?
Yes. Definitely.
Okay. Now, say that again.
Jim Ross. What do you think about Jim Ross?
Oh, I love Jim Ross.
Yeah, he had 2 gigs so far. The NXT and the NXT match, and then the UK thing.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be doing the women's. What is that thing? The tournament, women's tournament.
The Mae Young Classic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Mae Young Classic. That's exactly what they call it. Yep.
And rumor has it there that Lita might be calling the shots with him in the broadcast?
Yeah, I heard her name, and I heard Renee Young's name.
Renee Young would be actually pretty good. I would choose her over Lita, to tell the truth. You know, I'm surprised she's not in the broadcast booth, man. She just, because I think she came from ESPN too, right?
That was basically, well, I don't remember if she came from ESPN or not, but I think that is the that's the whole concept of them bringing her in, because they are trying to get her ready to do something like that. And yeah, I think she would be excellent.
I agree.
She's really good.
Oh yeah. What do you think, Chico?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think they're using her more for the after shows and kickoffs and all that, and she really does a fantastic job with those. I think they could put her in the broadcast booth on a more regular basis if they wanted to. She could do it.
They call her the Maury Povich of WWE.
There you go. So yeah,
she got more pizzazz than a lot of them. She's all like, you can tell she's hyped up.
Yep, it's real nice, man, to have Jim Ross come back, and you know, I read one of his blogs or heard a comment somewhere that he's not full time. He doesn't want to come back full time. He likes to pick and choose his assignments. You know, dude's 60 plus years old, and he ain't got time for that. You know, to be traveling all the time, even though he does travel quite a bit. But hey, to each their own. Welcome back, Jim Ross, to the E, where you belong, bro. Let's see what else here. They started an angle here on Monday with Kurt Angle. I mean, we probably shouldn't talk about it because not much has been developed. But if you guys watched Raw this week, what thoughts do you guys have about that?
Well, I saw it, but I don't know what in the world is going on with it. And I really actually heard about it after Raw went off, because I didn't pay attention to that part. And when I went back and checked it out, I was like, oh, man, what in the world is going on? So this is actually a script to bring Kurt Angle back to the squared circle. So we shall see. I don't know who it would be against, but we'll see. I think it's really good. I love that, you know, Kurt Angle is trying to get back in the ring for at least 2 or 3 more matches. That would be sweet.
I don't know. I mean, he's been out of that a long time. I mean, personally, I really like what he's doing as a GM, and he's really, you know, I think that's. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this double role type idea where you got, you know, somebody that's executive type or management type, and then, you know, wrestling. I don't know. I don't really know what I think of that.
Kurt Angle has not been out of the ring very long at all. Kurt Angle's been out of the ring for a couple months.
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't he?
I thought he was out of the ring
match?
at least a year.
Yeah, didn't he have a match in February?
Yeah, he had in March too. He had just stopped wrestling when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's when he said that he wasn't going to take any more dates.
And this is why I read the news, the dirt sheets, so I can stay up to date with that kind of shit. Because Kurt Angle and I, we're not Twitter buddies. Don't have phone numbers. Just letting you know that, Chico, why I read the dirt sheets. Just like last year, I think it was last year, the year before, Sasha Banks was just off TV. I'm like, what the hell? So, and speaking of Sasha Banks, man, that Alicia Fox shit that they got, I mean, I know they're just putting her in the storyline until the title run thing, but man, you guys gotta feel. I mean, I feel for her, man. I mean, because I think she has a mixed tag match this weekend at Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
I don't remember the motherfuckers' names, man, but
I honestly don't know why in the world they are even doing that.
yeah, I totally agree. I mean, after that third match, I'm like, okay, bam, she's just gonna disappear for a couple of weeks because Extreme Rules ain't that far away from the last time when she defeated Alicia Fox. But you know, we all know it's just something for her to do until after the pay-per-view.
I'm wondering if they went that route because of Nia Jax being injured.
You know, there's a new
her
right there. I did not know she was
Jax
injured.
was going at it.
I did not know she was injured.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't either.
Then again, you know, here, you know, behind the scenes at the Rasslin podcast, Café podcast, I've been fucking around trying to clean all this shit up and get this thing open, ready for prime time. But anyways, that's another story. But yeah, man, fill us in, bro. What happened? Is she like popped the shoulder or something?
I don't even remember what happened. I just know that it was. Was she one of? I can't remember if she was one of the ones who got hurt in they little overseas thing, the UK thing. I can't remember exactly when she got hurt, but I know she. They briefly mentioned it, you know, through the dirt sheets and stuff, and they haven't said anything else about it since.
I know I ain't seen her around for a couple weeks, so that would explain it. She ain't been.
And then, you know, speaking of women, there were a couple other women that were injured too. Old girl from NXT, Ember Moon, she's supposed to be coming back. She's going to be back. Well, actually, she's already back. And Emma is back already. They have her on NXT doing training and stuff, and Brie Bella is talking about making a return.
Wow.
So we'll see. Did you hear about Hulk Hogan?
He's coming back too, right?
They talking about Hulk Hogan is in talks with Vince McMahon about coming back. So I think that would be good for him. At least that'll help them put some butts in the seats.
I always have to laugh at that. I always have to laugh at that when people say something like that. Put some butt in seats. You know, that's a famous line from Tony Schiavone, right? Have you heard it from WCW? So, yeah, Chico, if you don't, this is what I'm talking about. Back in the day, WCW would always liked to give out results of Monday Night Raw during their show, okay? Because Raw was taped here and there.
Yep.
And Tony Schiavone was like, well, meanwhile, on the other show, Mick Foley just won their World Heavyweight Championship. That'll put some butt in seats, people.
Yeah.
He's famous for that.
Yeah, that was that during the whole big Nitro versus Raw war?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. I wasn't watching it then, but I knew it was going on.
And Tony Schiavone, if I remember right, you know, if you guys go to on Twitter, follow them at WHW Monday and tell them at the Wrestling Cafe sent you there. Tony Schiavone on one episode said that he called Mick Foley back and said, hey, I was told to say that, I apologize, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's not like these guys are truly hating on each other, you know what I'm saying? It's just the bosses telling them what to do. But
Mick Foley was pretty disappointed though, because he felt like, you know, that was really disrespectful of Tony Schiavone to do that. But after over 500,000 people turned the TV from Nitro to Raw, you know,
shit, bro, I was one of them.
He regretted that.
I was one of them that turned it over. I'm like, really? Let's see what else. Okay, so you guys got any other news that you would like to share, Big Southern?
I don't have any news, but back to the Hulk Hogan thing for a minute. Wouldn't it be cool if Hogan would be Angle's like assistant or whatever? Because back in TNA recently, that's what, or was it Hogan and Flair? I forget. I didn't watch that one much.
Tell you the truth, nope. I wouldn't care to see that.
And to tell you the truth, I don't watch TNA, so.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't watch that either.
Okay, and let's see here. Well, that's pretty much it for news. I mean, as far as that goes. Back to the Kurt Angle thing. There were rumblings, and people are going to groan at this, but there was talk about having Triple H and Kurt Angle mix it up one more time. Because they did have a storyline feud in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard that they were talking about doing that at a WrestleMania.
Yeah, it depends how long they drag this fucking storyline out, though. And if they do that, I think that's bullshit, because it's like, who's getting put over here? And they're both, one's Hall of Fame, but, definitely in the future. One is a Hall of Famer, so I'm like, it's all about putting over the talent, though. So, who the fuck's gonna be being put over, if that were the case? But let's see what happens, man. I mean, when they were, because just like you, Southern, I mean, I missed it, and I had to go back. I'm like, oh, this is what they're talking about. What the fuck, And I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, who on the roster could benefit from a rub from Kurt Angle?
It'd be funny, and I know they won't do this because it probably wouldn't make any sense, but it would still be funny as heck, is if they changed the Fatal 5-Way and made it a 6-way and stuck Angle in there, see if he can mix it up with the big boys. Now, wouldn't it be funny to see him end up facing Lesnar? Didn't they have a feud once?
Oh, yeah. They're famous for, I think it was WrestleMania 19, I want to believe, here in Seattle, Washington, where Kurt Angle did the moonsault. No, wait, it was Brock Lesnar who did the moonsault, and he missed, and he landed on his head, and he still finished the match. But
yeah.
Two legit athletes, that would be great, but, I'd rather see Brock against, somebody else and instead of rehashing that shit, But going back to Raw, what do you guys think about? It's way too early to think, or to probably draw a conclusion, because it's just he just debuted, but we have seen him on TV weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. What do you guys think about that? What's his name? Eli something? Samson?
Elias Sampson.
Yeah, you guys got thoughts on him?
Yeah, Elias Sampson is a good. That boy is bad. Now that's one thing about it. A lot of people that didn't watch or don't watch NXT, so they wouldn't know nothing about him. But Elias Sampson, that dude, they called him the Drifter on NXT, and he's good. He's really good. And the only thing that kind of tripped me out when they let him make his debut was, I guess it's okay, but I wish they would have just legitimately let him beat Dean Ambrose instead of having The Miz come in there and basically help. But other than that, Elias Sampson is going to be he's going to be a real good one, and he could potentially, if they do him right and use him right, he could potentially be a main event star.
Yeah, if he'd lose the rock and roll and be more straight on just as wrestling instead of him and his crazy guitar. But they had to do the Dean Ambrose letting Miz come in and help, him because of the Extreme Rules. They had to add to the feud, so they kind of needed to do it that way.
So let me expand / clarify. Chico said lose the guitar, blah 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 blah. For those who are listening, Chico's not a huge fan of gimmicks. Am I correct there, Chico?
Yeah, just don't get into that. I care about the wrestling part of it. That's why I watch it. I don't watch it for the other. Some of it's cool, but some of it's just downright. Yeah, really.
And and guys out there, we've had numerous podcasts in the past. I'm working on the archives for the past podcasts that we've recorded, and we've covered these topics before, but I'm gonna quickly rehash it. And that is, there was basically a feud here between his perspective versus Big Southern's perspective, and I don't remember what the fuck I said, but there needs to be that middle ground, because if you have everybody that doesn't have a gimmick, it's going to be bland and boring. You need something to attract the viewers. And there's this big old hoopla about all these high spots and hashtag dives and shit like that, going the Randy Orton thing. So I would be interested to hear from you folks out there. What kind of wrestling do you guys prefer? Go ahead and tweet at the Rasslin Café on Twitter and let us know. But I'm just right in the middle. There can't be too much gimmicks, because go look back in the 90s, early 90s, you had Tugboat, an evil tax man, a garbage man, a clown, I mean, it was like a fucking circus. So, alright, so let's go into the main course here. Extreme Rules, June 4th, 2017. I will try to remember all the matches here. The main event is, we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but let's get through the appetizer and all the other crap first. That match we referenced earlier, Southern, is that official? The Sasha Banks mixed tag match? Southern.
I don't know, but I believe it is, yes.
Yes, it is. Sorry about that. It is official.
Okay, so I think that will be on the pre-show, and
yeah, yeah,
and just to get the crowd going, which is and are we all in agreement here that Sasha and that one dude's gonna win, whatever his name is?
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
I don't know. Yeah, I wish I would have paid attention to the names of those guys too. I do know the names, but if somebody were to say it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's who it is.
Same here. I'm like, because I'm not into the cruiserweight thing, man. I mean, it was
me
cool.
neither.
I'm only watching it for the women.
It sounded cool at first when Stephanie, busted a promo on it, man. But after these, 5-6 months, I'm like, forget it. Thank God they're on the network, man.
Well, I do like some of them. But it's like, I don't watch, truthfully, I don't watch 205 Live at all.
Me neither.
But some of the guys that they do have representing the cruiserweight, like I said, I do like them.
Austin Aries and Neville are my only two people that I pay attention to.
Oh man, I like a lot more than that, but yeah.
I think Gallagher is the guy that Sasha's wrestling with. I think, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, I think.
Alright, so another match we got there on the card is, and help me out here, guys. I don't have the menu here in front of me, so I don't remember what's on deck. The women's championship.
That's going to be pretty good. I believe. I think that Bailey is going to really start showing people that she can go extreme, but unfortunately, I do not think that Bailey is going to win. I believe that Miss Sexy Alexa is going to keep her belt. Sexy Lexi is going to keep her belt.
I don't think so, but there again, I'm not much into the women's matches either. I like the big heavyweights throwing each other around better, but I think it's going to be Bailey because she's going to have a lot of pin-up rage from what Alexa did to her with that candlestick the first time. The last time she got a hold of a candlestick, she started kicking some butt, so...
And that fucking segment that Alexa had on Monday. Oh my gosh. Thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah. Pretty boring. Pretty boring.
I think I took a restroom break during that. It was so boring. I think I took a restroom break.
Nah, man. I was sitting there, drinking Jack Daniels mixed with Coke. And I'm like, fuck, dude, it's killing my buzz. You know what I'm saying? I mean, once you've seen one, you've seen them all. I mean, The Rock and Mick Foley are the ones that set the bar for that shit. And then, Jericho and Owens, they did it. They had their own spin on it, which was cool. But yeah, that was a complete flop, man. But my prediction, I can't remember which feud it was, if it was for a woman or for the man, but there was one feud during the last build-up for the last pay-per-view. The bad guy, quote-unquote, kept getting the advantage. And normally in wrestling, when you get the advantage, you lose on pay-per-view. And Bliss, she's been getting the upper hand on Bailey this entire build-up. So WWE logic would say, okay, Bailey is going to come out on top and regain and get the title because Alexa has been teasing her and yada yada yada, but I don't see Bailey getting the title. Or would she get the title because remember that rumored match, Sasha Banks and Bailey? Then again, they also talked about Sasha and Bliss too.
Yeah, I'm thinking if Bailey were to get the belt back, it's probably going to be they probably going to wait until SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think didn't we talk about that on the last podcast too? I think talk of that. I think that's. I thought we talked about Bailey and Sasha at one time, and you all said that you definitely saw that friendship come apart in a match.
That's how it was looking, man, earlier in the year, but who knows?
So you don't think, though, Southern, that Bailey will win? You think that Lexi will keep her belt, as you call it?
Yeah, I think she's going to keep it until SummerSlam.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know because it's like and another person. I don't know. I just don't know because they just have they have a lot of women, but some of them they are not doing anything with. And I talked about this point before. They need to come out with a tag team women's title. That's what they need to do. Because it would help some of these other women to be in the spotlight. Right. But I don't think that the tag team women's title should be exclusive to Raw though, or exclusive to SmackDown. The tag team women's titles should go to both shows. But I don't know. As far as Sasha, I don't know what in the world they are going to do with her, because to me, ever since she dropped the belt to
Charlotte
to Charlotte the last time, she's not really been doing anything. They've not really been doing anything with her.
She should have been moved over to SmackDown, really, man. If you ask me,
that's what they should have. I think that's what they should have did with her.
Well, y'all was just talking about how you think, they're going to have that Alexa and Sasha. So what they might do is, regardless of who gets the belt, being that SummerSlam is pretty much around the corner, they could maybe put, Sasha, Bayley, and Alexa in a triple threat for the title. Or they could, depending on who wins, maybe they'll, and depending on if they do a feud with Sasha and Alexa or Sasha and Bayley, they could end up having a champion versus champion at SummerSlam. Which, if Sasha got the belt, and if before the end, and if Charlotte gets the belt again, even though they said that feud was final, they could end up rekindling that for a,
I truly doubt that, and that wouldn't make no sense to me at all, because that would take away from the two shows. You'd have to put what are they going to do with the other women? That wouldn't make no sense to me. And then one thing about it that we keep forgetting about is that Great Ball of Fire too. I'm thinking that they are going to try to make that Great Balls of Fire a really good pay-per-view because of it being the first time them doing it. So we may get some surprises with that, because that's going to be well before SummerSlam. And then, SummerSlam is going to be for Raw and SmackDown live. So I guess we'll see.
Time will tell, I guess.
Next here we got Dean Ambrose and The Miz. If Dean Ambrose gets disqualified, he loses the title straight out the gate. I'm seeing Dean drop the title.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Miz is probably going to have somebody to come out there to either attack him in order to get Dean disqualified, and it's going to be Dean getting disqualified not by his own power. And then it'd probably be Elias Sampson who come out there and help him. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. I hate that idea. But you're probably right. But I like Dean Ambrose. I'm a big Dean Ambrose fan, and so naturally, my hope is that he manages to either win without that happening, or the ref not see it and the match continue, or maybe even that happen and Kurt Angle come out and say, no, I think this was set up, so let's restart the match and make it no DQ on both sides. I don't.
What do you guys see Dean Ambrose going after this pay-per-view?
Where do you see what now?
Dean Ambrose. Where do you see him going after this pay-per-view? I mean, if he loses the title, where does he go from here? Does he jump into the heavyweight championship scene, or?
I don't know what in the world they're gonna do with him, man. The last time that I heard anything, I heard something about them having him, Dean Ambrose and Seth, because I heard that they were talking about turning Dean Ambrose heel. So I think that'd be good for him.
I don't know, but I'm hoping for a Shield reunion for a little while.
That ain't gonna happen no time soon.
Yeah, they were talking about that last year, I believe. For a while, at least, man. But Seth got hurt.
It'd be too early for them to come out with a Shield reunion just yet.
But I didn't know they were talking about turning Dean heel. I'd really hate to see that because he's, in my opinion, he's good as a face. Everybody likes him, you know.
Yeah, but everybody will still like him even if he was a heel.
Maybe. He is crazy and he is entertaining regardless what they do with him. I mean, I can't discount that. No matter what they do with him, heel or face, he's entertaining.
Now, this has not been made official either, but it looks like they might do Goldust against R-Truth. Any thoughts on that?
That might be one of the pre-show. That might be the pre-show match.
Yeah,
I can really care less about that.
Yeah, if they were going to make a feud with that, they didn't do very much build-up to it, so if they did, it wouldn't really... It would be like, what? Who cares? There's nothing to it.
So it's Omdar, going back, I'm just reading this shit here. You know, Omdar is with Alicia Fox, and then Rich Swann with Sasha Banks.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because it'd be kind of going back to that. If they do like a relationship angle, that'd be kind of fucked up because her husband works backstage and shit. Like, I ain't making that motherfucker costume anymore.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking up the card here because I'm having a hard time remembering all the matches.
The other match that, I mean, I don't even know what kind of matches they supposed to have at Extreme Rules. I was depending on y'all to know.
Well, they got the 5-way. They got the kendo stick match, and
that's
they got
basically
so all we
the
got
5-way is basically the only one that I've really been paying attention to. That and the women's match.
So
don't they got a submission match on there too? I think it's
I was about to say it's a cruiserweight match and the tag team match. We got to talk about, get your predictions on that. So the cruiserweight, after what happened on Monday, because I have been fully subscribed to the theory, you get your ass kicked on TV, you win on pay-per-view. And speaking of subscribing, folks, you can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Using iTunes, just look up the Rasslin Café and try to give us some 5-star ratings, good reviews, and if you subscribe to our podcast, every time we record some, it'll drop onto your device, and you guys don't have to fucking go looking for us because we just bring it straight to you. But I'm saying Neville's gonna win. I don't know what happened. Did anything happen to Neville on 205 Live?
I didn't even watch it, so I don't know.
I didn't watch it. Nope.
See here, guys, man. All you people out there listening, we're not true wrestling fans, okay? We don't watch everything because there's too much shit to watch. Not enough time in the week, man.
I watch Raw, I watch SmackDown, and NXT.
I don't even watch NXT. I don't even bother with that. But that's just me.
I watch Raw and SmackDown. It's just the E has the market like overly saturated, man. I just gotta pick and choose. I might do NXT on the weekend kind of deal, but I would hate to jump into watching NXT because I'm not up to date on the storyline, so I'm not knowing what the fuck is going on. But
it wouldn't be hard to figure it out.
I should have done that this weekend when it was Memorial Day weekend. But I was too busy barbecuing ribs and shit, so all good. And so, yeah, what do you guys think? Those two, Neville and Aries. Because Aries, he's been chasing that title for a while now. You think it's his time?
I do.
Yeah, I do think it's his. I think he should have already got it, but slow burn.
Well, I like the submission thing because, Neville has a good submission move. Aries has a good submission move. So it's going to be a matter of who can outlast the submission move because, they're both going to try to get the submission on as soon as they can. So it's going to be a matter of, which submission move takes the cake.
It being a submission move, I have a feeling that might be at least a 15-minute match. Because you gotta work on the body part. You gotta do all that psychology shit. You gotta build up to it. You can't just go 30 minutes into the match and bam, submission move. You gotta weaken your opponent. So I see it, 12 to 15 minutes. So that's gonna. I mean, no offense to the cruiserweights, but that might be my smoke break.
Yeah, but one thing too, they are gonna have to give all of them some time because they don't really have many matches. I think the longest match is going to definitely be that 5-man qualifier. That's going to be the longest match.
Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus. I'm calling it Sheamus and Cesaro, which, to add to that, I'm really surprised that Sheamus and Cesaro, because, lasted this long, man. I thought they just threw them together because creative had nothing else for them to do. You know what I'm saying? Because, honestly, last summer, they didn't really have jack shit to do. So, hey, let's throw these guys in there, let's do a storyline, deal with them, and I'm really surprised that they lasted this long, and I'm hoping when there is a split between the two that it will benefit Cesaro because that dude needs a push big time, man, because that guy, he's scary in the ring, man. And
they wasting him.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I'm hoping that when Sheamus turns on Cesaro, that, that'll catapult him and, supposedly Vince just not too high on him because of the quote accent. You know what I mean? Or he's not a good promo dude. Fuck, if that's the case, why the hell did he got that one dude as a champion on SmackDown?
Why did he got Roman Reigns?
That too. So
well, I don't think that they're going to have Sheamus and Cesaro win because, just like you said, I'm expecting a split. And splitting them, especially if they had the tag team titles, that would make it awfully interesting. It would make it awfully weird because what do you do? What do you do with if you're going to split them, what do you do with, the tag team champions?
Okay,
how are you going to deal with that?
Let me reword that. So, on one hand, I'm predicting that the E is going to give the titles to Cesaro and Sheamus. And then when they lose the title, that's when the split's going to happen. That's what I meant.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, it seems like just like any, that's why I don't really pay attention to the pay-per-views in between the big four, but Money in the Bank, though, on the other side of the fence, I'm excited for. But we'll talk about that at the next podcast. But I'm not too excited about Extreme Rules because there's really nothing extreme about it. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, and by the way, that tag match is in the cage, so you expect to see Jeff Hardy do some crazy shit in the match.
Yep.
As far as other matches that might happen, that Eli dude, I think he's going to show up and just have another squash match, which is kind of dumb because that's happened before where they had squash matches. You know, the wrestlers come out and just beat some nobody on the pay-per-view. I miss those days where pay-per-views had matches that you can't see anywhere else or that you won't see on TV, you know what I'm saying? That you have to fucking order the pay-per-view just to watch it. But, that's just me. I guess I don't like change. Alright, main event time. You sound like you're full over there, Southern. You okay, bro?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, man. You don't sound like you're too interested in what we're serving up here. Motherfucker's gonna go vegetarian on me or some shit, vegan or whatever.
No.
Like, alright, main event time. Let's pick this apart, guys. Let's try to hear my thoughts out first, and then off the bat, I'm gonna say Finn Balor, whatever his name is gonna win because it's too early for Roman. Seth and Samoa Joe had a feud going back for a while. At least a couple of months. Yes, we can say that Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor as well, but I see Bray Wyatt going after the... I don't know where the fuck Bray Wyatt's going after, or what he's doing after that, but I just, for some reason, I see Finn Balor winning that match, and that'll be the selling point, you know, little man, big man, great balls of fire. So I'm calling Finn Balor. It would be great to see. Let's see, between the three, between all guys. Here's the question I got for you guys: who's gonna win? Who do you think is gonna win? And who would you guys? Hold on, let me rewind. Your prediction for the winner of the match. And who would be the best matchup for Lesnar? So I'm saying Balor will take the match, but I would love to see Samoa Joe against Lesnar. Hopefully I didn't confuse the hell out of you guys.
Wow. Well, I truly believe that, you know, right now, the crap that they are trying to build up is eventually Roman Reigns going against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So we know that Roman Reigns is not going to be the one who win it. Right now, with Finn Balor, to me, it's too early for Finn Balor to come in and lose against Brock Lesnar at this moment, unless they have a plan behind him losing. Okay, and Bray Wyatt to me should have been already in that spotlight where I believe that Bray Wyatt would be I think all of them would be a good matchup towards going against Brock. But I just think it would be too early for them to have any of them to lose, except for Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins can afford to go and lose to Brock right now. So I don't know. I have no idea who is going. Now, I'll tell you who I'd like to see win right now, but I wouldn't want them to go and get beat by Brock. And I'm just going to say Samoa Joe. I'd love to see that. but we already know Samoa Joe ain't gonna win it. So it's probably gonna be boy. I'm just gonna go with Seth. I'm gonna go with Seth. That's who I'm gonna go with. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to predict this one.
Well, we've already seen Seth and Brock. We've already seen Roman and Brock, and those are, in my opinion, are the two that have the best chance of beating Brock, because we've already seen both of them put up some killer matches with Brock. They both, been able to do a pretty good job. But I think of the new ones, the people that you haven't seen go against Brock, at least to my memory, we've never seen Finn Balor against Brock. Finn's really new. And of course, Samoa Joe is new to WWE. He's been around a little bit, but I think he came from TNA. So of course, you haven't seen him against Brock. Bray Wyatt, he's been around a long time. They haven't done a lot. I mean, they've done a lot of weird gimmick with him, but they haven't, aside from him having the title for that little run that he had, they haven't really done a lot with him. So, while I think maybe he could give Brock a run for his money, I think the two best chances of somebody winning against Brock would be Roman or Seth. So it's a toss-up, in my opinion, between those two. I believe one of those two will win, but if they don't, I think Samoa Joe, with his mean streak, as much as I don't like him and his mean streak would be the next best guess, in my opinion, to beat Brock.
So,
that's my opinion.
A couple of thoughts here. Remember Roman and Seth, when they had matches against Brock, they were not clean finishes.
Exactly.
Right.
My pick for Finn, it's going to help, what's his name, Wyatt, and that feud is going to pick back up, because I believe Wyatt is going to cost Finn the match, and then they go fight out whatever pay-per-view it's going to be, SummerSlam. Because what's the next Raw pay-per-view after the Balls of Fire? Is that the last one before SummerSlam?
Yeah, SummerSlam is after that.
I'm thinking.
Okay,
yeah.
so with this match with them, what kind of match is it supposed to be? Is it just going to be a straight-up match to see who pinned who first, or is this going to be an elimination match?
They have not announced that, as far as I've seen.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, they might even announce that the day of the fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, by the way.
Well, yeah, what they might do is wait till the match starts, and then right before they introduce the match, Kurt Angle comes waltzing down to the ring, and there's a stipulation change or whatever.
So, when we did a previous podcast about the last pay-per-view, I think it was, or not the last pay-per-view, one of the pay-per-views we covered in the past. And like I said, folks, I'll have the archives up for the other podcasts soon. But Big Southern asked a question about, a takeaway pay-per-view. So this weekend, are you guys going to hopefully walk away with something, a good memory from the pay-per-view, or you think it's just a throwaway pay-per-view?
Oh man, I don't know. I have no idea.
Me either. I mean, I think
the Great Balls of Fire is going to be the one that they are going to try to pull out all the stops. That's what I believe. This one right
Yeah.
here, like you said, I think it's just going to be like just something for them to throw on. I don't know. I think the two biggest things is going to be the women's match and that main event. That's it.
And maybe that
Now,
tag team.
they may surprise us. Oh yeah, that's cage match. Yeah.
Those will be the biggest three, and I think depending on how they turn out, I mean, if they turn out the way I would hope they would turn out, then I would probably have something big to remember and really, be happy about. But I think if they didn't, if the people who I'm hoping win don't, and if they don't do some good stuff with the matches, I mean, like, if you don't see somebody, one of the two women get the kendo stick early and start pounding around, or if you don't see the cage being, used as a weapon early, then there might not be anything to it. I was disappointed that we're not going to get a tables match or a chair match or something. When we go extreme, I was hoping for something like that. And
That's for another pay-per-view, bro.
Yeah, they usually do that at TLC.
Yeah, I know they do the tables, ladders, and chairs, all of it. But sometimes they'll have just a table match or just a chair match. They've had them, in the past, and I just think one or the other would be cool to have on Extreme Rules.
Well, all in all, guys, it's Extreme Rules 2017, June 4th. You guys feel free out there to tweet us. Tweet at the Rasslin Café during the pay-per-view. I hope you guys enjoyed the pay-per-view. We have another one coming up after that, 2 weeks after that. It seems like there's a fucking pay-per-view every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And thank God for the network. Ugh.
I am, between the two, I'm more excited for the Money in the Bank than I am the Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And we can get into that. We can get into that in the next podcast. But in the meantime, folks, let me do some quick plugs here. I would like to thank Big Southern and Chico joining me here at the Rasslin Café. Everybody out there, hope you guys subscribe. You can either subscribe from the websites, thewrestlingcafe.com, use that RSS right there, or you can search for us on iTunes at the Rasslin Cafe. Or shit, you can even just type in Rasslin Cafe and it'll pop up. Either way, spread the word, tell people about us, give us some 5-star ratings, and Twitter here, like I said, at the Rasslin Cafe. Big Southern's Twitter is at
Big Southern.
And Chico, what's your Twitter?
At MK1483. I'm hoping to change that by the next podcast to go with my name here, Chico. I'm hoping to get that changed by the next podcast.
In the meantime, folks, what I do hope will change is the creative direction with the WWE, because homeboy's getting kind of bored here. But I just can't wait for SummerSlam. The Great Balls of Fire is just, I already know that they're just putting that shit on just to, put some value on it. Like, hey, it's a great paper. I mean, the damn name, for fuck's sakes, man. Couldn't Vince come up with a different name? But in any event, really, people, thank you for listening. Again, subscribe on iTunes, and pretty soon you can find us in Google and all that shiznit. And tell a friend, tell a wrestler, tell somebody. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys for the next podcast. And thank you for joining us.
Peace.
Daddy, I'm still hungry. Can I have a third plate?
No, baby, it's time to go.
Aw.